Imagine a world divided, two superpowers at a standoff, a city split in two. Welcome to the era of the Cold War. It was a time of tension and uncertainty, where ideologies clashed and nations were caught in the crossfire. The United States and the Soviet Union, two titans of power, locked in a silent conflict that spanned decades. This was not merely a political feud but a battle of ideologies: capitalism versus communism, democracy versus dictatorship. In the aftermath of the Second World War, Germany found itself partitioned into East and West, a political boundary that carved through the very heart of Berlin. This division was more than just lines on a map. It was a tangible, physical divide, embodied by the infamous Berlin Wall. It stood as a stark reminder of the tension that gripped the world, a concrete manifestation of the ideological chasm of the Cold War era. The Berlin Wall, a symbol of this Cold War era, stood tall and formidable, dividing a city and a nation. As years passed, the Berlin Wall, once a symbol of division, began to crumble under political pressure and public discontent. The late 80s were characterized by a series of events that signaled a shift in the political landscape of Eastern Europe. Change was in the air, and it was palpable. The Iron Curtain, the ideological and physical barrier separating the East from the West, was starting to show signs of wear and tear. One of the first dominoes to fall was the relaxation of travel restrictions in Eastern Europe. The Hungarian government, in a bold move, decided to open its border with Austria in the summer of 1989. This decision effectively punched a hole in the Iron Curtain, allowing thousands of East Germans vacationing in Hungary to cross into Austria and from there, into West Germany. It was a direct challenge to the Berlin Wall's very reason for existence. Back in East Berlin, discontent was brewing. The open border in Hungary was a beacon of hope to those trapped behind the wall, and it spurred a wave of protests in East Berlin. The people had tasted freedom and they wanted more. Week after week, the protests grew in size and intensity. What started as a few hundred protesters swelled into a mass of over 500,000 demanding change. And change did come. Inside the East German government, a political reshuffle was taking place. Erich Honecker, the hardliner who had ruled East Germany for almost 2 decades, was forced to step down. His successor, Egon Krenz, was seen as more open to reform. However, the damage was done, and the tide of public opinion could not be turned back. The people wanted the wall down. They wanted freedom, they wanted reunification, and they were willing to fight for it. The pressure was mounting, both from within and outside the country. The Berlin Wall, once a symbol of division and oppression, was teetering on the edge. The stage was set, the people were ready, and the world watched in anticipation as the symbol of the Cold War was on the brink of collapse. November 9, 1989, a day that would forever mark the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter for Germany. On this historic day, East German officials made a shocking announcement. The Berlin Wall, the very symbol of a divided nation, was to be opened. For 28 long years, this concrete barrier had stood as a stark reminder of the Cold War. But now, its reign was coming to an end. As the news spread, jubilant crowds gathered on both sides of the wall. The air was thick with anticipation and disbelief, and then, the unthinkable happened. People began crossing the border, some in tears, others laughing in sheer disbelief. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated joy, an unforgettable spectacle of freedom and unity. The fall of the Berlin Wall was not just the end of a physical barrier, it marked the end of the Cold War and the start of a reunified Germany. The fall of the Berlin Wall, a momentous event that shook the world and marked a new era in history. We journeyed through the chilling era of the Cold War, a time filled with political tension and ideological discord. We delved into the division of Germany, a nation split in two, the East and the West, each representing a different world order. We explored the series of events that led up to the fall, a culmination of civil unrest, political changes, and a longing for freedom. Finally, we relived that fateful day in November 1989 when the Berlin Wall, a symbol of division and oppression, was finally torn down. In its ruins, we saw the end of the Cold War and the beginning of a united Germany. The fall of the Berlin Wall serves as a powerful reminder of the strength of the human spirit and the enduring quest for freedom and unity.